I'm just gonna play with this little computer panel over here while Jimmy's doing whatever the heck he's doing.
Ash is forced to kill everyone, cuts off his hand, arming himself with a chainsaw modified to fit on his stump arm. The battle would ultimately end with Ash using the Necronomicon to open a portal through time and space to try and send evil back to the past.
Oh, so I'm gonna guess instead of being...
He got sucked into the portal. He then found himself trapped in medieval times, where he was considered a chosen one.
That was the Army Dead. I think that's what it's called.
I haven't actually seen any of the Evil Dead movies.
The only Evil Dead one I've seen is the third one, and that's the one that you're talking about right now.
Well, there were 3.
There was... Well, because the first one was... the first one's not called Evil Dead, I believe.
And then the second one was Evil Dead?
Yeah. Because they made a remake of the original one.
And that was...
a few years ago. But I don't remember specifically what it's called.
Okay, well, Warring Kingdoms...
No. It's Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness. That's what it is.
Okay. He's prophesized to save 2 Warring Kingdoms.
Yes.
Ash demands that he wants to go home, he doesn't want to get involved, but he accidentally awakens more Deadites. They capture his new love interest. After the victory, Ash returns home where he would resume his normal life. But then he finds that there's still Deadites. He would have many other adventures across time and space, fighting all forms of monsters and creatures, including the monstrous hero Darkman, the horror icons Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees.
Wait, Darkman like the Liam
Eventually,
Neeson
Ash
movie?
dies. Following his death, he finds himself at the pearly gates of heaven, trying to persuade St. Peter to let him take his chainsaw and boomstick into heaven.
Oh, that boomstick.
Hearing screaming, he finds a zombified, costumed superhero feeding on those waiting to enter heaven.
Oh, you know what? It would make sense that he would go to Marvel Zombies.
Ash shoots the costumed hero, but it has little effect as he is punched through the fabric of reality. He drops through a rip in the sky and lands on what appears to be Earth. Ash then witnesses Thunderball and Daredevil fighting.
Okay.
And decides that he should help the more heavily armed one that doesn't dress like Satan.
Oh, well, okay.
Daredevil sees Ash beating up an old lady who's making a weird prophecy, and then he goes to stop Ash. Ash goes to Avengers Mansion.
Right.
Where he's greeted by the Avengers.
Of course.
He meets Scarlet Witch.
Why not?
The Quinjet arrives. Spider-Man and Colonel America are there.
Colonel America?
Colonel America. Spider-Man wraps up Ash and takes him away.
So then it's gotta be Marvel Zombies.
Spider-Man meets the hero that Ash saw at Heaven, Sentry.
The Sentry?
No, just Sentry.
Is it S-E-N...
S-E-N-T-R-Y.
Okay, I know kind of about it.
Sentry is attacking and biting the Avengers, who are in turn becoming zombies. Spider-Man swings down and picks up a blonde girl and places her to safety. Colonel America appears. Spider-Man... okay, Spider-Man, who seems to be infected, jumps on Hawkeye and threatens to eat his brains. The others, however, tell him not to bother, as the dead taste horrible, and it seems only total destruction of the brain can kill the zombies. Okay.
So, basically, Ash shows up at the very beginning of the Marvel Zombie outbreak.
I guess.
Because, I mean, that makes sense for why he would know them, but it's not as good of a reason as I thought it was going to be completely honest.
Yeah. Ash sees a version of himself being eaten by Howard the Duck.
Of course.
Of course. Ash slices Howard in half. Cool. Scarlet Witch, Zombie Thor, Dr. Druid.
Is he involved?
Long, Victor Von Doom.
Is he involved? See if there's anything that says Galactus.
This is a really long synopsis.
I mean, you're already, who knows how far in. I'm wondering how much of Marvel Zombies he's a part of. I mean, I'll never read it because I don't really like zombies myself, but now I'm curious.
Yeah, I guess so. Somehow they must have had the rights for that.
I wonder whose rights would he be? Well, because he'd probably be... If there is an Evil Dead comic book, it would probably be... I don't want to say Dark Horse, but it might be Dark Horse.
Marvel Zombies versus the Army of Darkness is a 5-issue 2007 comic book limited series published by Marvel in association with Dynamite Entertainment, and a company crossover which has Ash Williams. Okay. He's finding himself in the Marvel Zombie setting. Interesting. Well, the more you know.
That was actually pretty informative. I mean, it's kind of a letdown because I don't like zombies, but it was neat to know where that came from.
Yeah, it's one of those things you don't expect to see. Googling comic book stuff.
That Ash Williams...
All of a sudden, yeah, Ash Williams had a big crossover.
And fought
Hawkeye and the Avengers and Howard the Duck.
Yeah, but who gives a shit about Howard the Duck?
I don't know, actually. That's a good question.
Because I know I don't.
I know I don't.
He's just a stupid duck. I mean, he was a nice after credits feature, but
the reason it was funny is because he's stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're doing something ironically, you're still doing that thing. It's like, I'm trying to think of a good example. If you think tramp stamps are stupid, and so you ironically get one, you still have a tramp stamp.
Yes. Just because it was dumb. Yeah.
And that you know that it's dumb, it's like, you still have one. Or when oh, this was a joke that Zero Punctuation made.
Are you stealing jokes now?
I'm stealing jokes. I want to tell this one because I really like it.
Okay.
It's neat sometimes when entertainment subverts your expectations, but that doesn't inherently make it neat. If you go to meet Mall Santa, and Mall Santa is sitting there smoking a cigarette, and he just, like, throws a toy at you and doesn't give a shit. Like, yeah, you subverted his expectations. That doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah. I get you now.
I have not been paying attention to what you are doing.
Well,
in the slightest. I was reading up about Ash Williams.
I know. I'm trying to chase down Venom, but I don't remember what to do at this point.
I'm gonna guess you need to open those doors.
I do, but I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do to open them. Because I did something over here, and then I wasn't paying attention because I think I looked at you.
We're back from a little bit of a hiatus, and Eric just said something really interesting. Eric, would you like to repeat what you just said?
Yeah, I'll repeat it for the folks. See, wasn't that nice?
Now, I'm going to ask our editor, who edits all these videos, if you could find audio of Eric saying, "I'm dumb," and shop it, Photoshop it into that empty space.
You want me to Photoshop the footage of me saying, "I'm dumb"?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to be disappointed, but I'll do it.
Barton, don't give away your name.
Well, because, I mean, technically he's an agent in this continuity more than he is a superhero.
Which is why he's dressed all normally.
Yeah.
Oh, look, you made a washing machine.
Although I think you can unlock the purple suit.
Why do... Oh no, it's a subwoofer.
No, it's a dubwoofer. It's playing dubstep to break the Venom
Did you
stuff.
see it freak out the alien goo?
I did see it freak out the alien.
Is that actually a thing, or was that... I thought that was just something Spider-Man 3 did.
I'm gonna guess it was a thing, or it could always be one of those things where it wasn't really a thing, but then Spider-Man 3 made it a thing.
And then everyone was like, well, it was not the greatest movie, but that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, but I have no way of knowing for sure.
I've never been all that intrigued by Venom. Your screen is blacking out.
No, it's
Do
just...
you need to adjust the visual settings?
It's just trying to be a horror movie.
But it's not a horror movie, it's a Lego movie game.
See?
Oh, it's a jump scare. You forgot to scream and pretend to be way too scared for your viewers.
You know I could never... I don't think I could even pretend because I'm really jumpy, so I would probably have a legitimate heart attack if I played jump.
That's what we need to do. We need to stream Five Nights at Freddy's.
I'm just gonna put this out there. It might be a little late for that.
Did we miss the bandwagon for FNAF?
We missed the bandwagon by, like...
Didn't he finally, like, make the last FNAF game?
Well, he made like... What is it? Five Nights at Freddy's World, which was, like...
It was like a big theme park.
It wasn't a theme park. It was kind of like an RPG, kind of like all the there was I've seen people play it. There was an RPG called Five Nights at Fuckboys, where it's just a lot of like stupid gamer jokes, a lot of 420 jokes, and it kind of felt like that, but also really shitty. Google it.
Main series, Five Nights at Freddy's, was released in 2014.
You know, we're totally
Blah 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 blah.
Plus,
blah.
he might. I think he might be writing the movie.
Then he made Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Very confusing name scheme here.
Yeah.
Then he made Five Nights at Freddy's 3.
Right.
Then he made Five Nights at Freddy's 4.
Right.
Cool. Then he made Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location.
Right. That's the one that just came out.
That one came out in 2016.
Well, that still just came out. I forgot that was a thing they did.
Then there were spin-offs, where he made Five Nights at Freddy's World. Hinted towards the development of a 6th main game in the series.
How can there be another one?
But then he canceled. Are you familiar with the lore at all?
I mean, I've watched people play it, and it feels like the lore changes every time a game comes out.
That doesn't make.
I
got really into the lore and like people that explore the lore, and a lot of what I could see is that people were kind of under the consensus that the lore actually did change, kind of, from game to game.
I mean, I don't even have to like look into it to notice that was happening. Like I think 4 changes the lore from 2, like almost entirely.
Well, also there were books that I guess changed some of the lore.
There's Five Nights at Freddy's books.
Yeah, there's Five Nights at Freddy's The Silver Eyes, and Five Nights at Freddy's The Twisted Ones, that was released in 2017.
Okay, I was not aware that they made books.
There's also The Freddy Files, which is the first official guidebook of the series,
Sure.
and it expands on fan theories. Warner Brothers announced in April 2015 and acquired the rights to adapt the series to film. Movies, I guess, is still going to happen.
Well, of course the movie's going to happen. I can't imagine it's going to be good or look good.
Yeah, but you know, just the fact that it's happening is interesting.
Well, the Minecraft movie is still happening for whatever reason.
Yeah, but Minecraft is a cultural juggernaut. Five Nights at Freddy's is just kind of a thing.
Doesn't it... Well, you could argue it's the same, but doesn't it feel like Minecraft's importance has kind of diminished severely?
I don't think its importance is diminished. I would say its cultural presence is not as noticeable anymore. But it never went away. It's still going.
I don't know, maybe I just kind of stopped paying attention to it because the updates only come out every time, like...
Well, also, you could be falling victim to, I don't play the game anymore, so I feel like it's less relevant.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really play Dota 2 anymore, but that doesn't mean that Dota 2 is not as popular now as it was back when I was super into it. I just don't see it anymore.
Yeah. You could say the same thing about League of Legends. Maybe it's because we don't play Dota as much anymore that we also don't really see much about League of Legends anymore.
I don't know. I did hear all about how League of Legends has magical girls now.
What the hell? What is magical girls?
Eric.
Tell you what. Explain magical girls to me next time on Quickie Plays.
I can do that!